Well, the official casualty numbers coming out of the Middle East are a lie. They're not just underestimated like you might imagine. They're actually a mathematical impossibility. If you were to look at hospital logs, at real intelligence, we're actually talking about a mass casualty event on a historical scale. They are scrubbing the data to protect the foreign policy experts who have built this mess and have dragged us into this mess. They need you to think that it's all contained because the alternative is admitting that they've turned our foreign policy to a global meat grinder. But it's not contained, and you know better. And the price of that vanity is being paid right here in your kitchen. Well, look at the Strait of Hormuz. It is closed. It's not a geopolitical choke point. That's your food supply. Fertilizer shipments are stalled. Sulfur exports are trapped. And the American farmer, by the way, is paying double for diesel while they get hammered by input costs that are already at a record highs thanks to COVID. We are choking on our own economy to project power that we clearly don't have anymore. And so what about China? Well, they're watching and they're laughing. You see, they know that the US isn't a superpower anymore. Instead, we're really a liability. The Gulf states, the Middle East, have already bypassed us, dealing directly with Tehran because they know DC's not a real partner anymore. And Beijing is the one holding the keys. They've locked in a 25-year deal with Iran to siphon oil at a massive discount, paying in Chinese currency to bypass our sanctions entirely. Now, they don't care about our one China policy or our diplomatic noise. That's just a distraction that they let us make while they secure the energy they need to make their move into Taiwan. They're waiting for us to get bogged down into a war that we clearly can't win so they can seize the entire semiconductor supply chain. Now, again, if China controls the chips, they control AI, the financial system, the military tech. They're just competing with us. They're actively positioning to replace us. And while they prepare for the main event, look at how they're looting you at home. Larry Fink, the guy who runs BlackRock, isn't even hiding his game plan anymore, is he? He's told you to your face. Corporations aren't going to bankroll the AI data center build out. They're going to risk their own balance sheets on a massive, water-draining, power-sucking infrastructure bubble with a capital B we don't even have the chips to power. So you ask me, well, what are they doing instead? They're tapping your 401k. To make sure you can't stop it, the Department of Labor just moved to hand them what's referred to as fiduciary immunity. That isn't just policy. This is a getaway plan. They've legalized white-collar looting. They're literally taking your retirement savings, the retirement savings of the working class, middle class Americans, and funneling them into a failing tech bubble. And they've made it so they can't even get sued when it all blows up. And it will. Now it's all connected. The border's a sieve, and now we've got the whole New World screwworm, a flesh-eating parasite that we apparently wiped out 60 years ago, but yet it's reared its ugly head again in Texas and New Mexico. The USDA is dropping sterile flies and calling it low risk. Well, that's the perfect metaphor for this country. They're managing a parasite, all the while the host is dying. They're cannibalizing your housing, your retirement, and your food supply. They're betting that when this credit cycle finally snaps, and it is snapping, you'll be too broke and dependent on them to fight back. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a heist of epic proportions, plain and simple, and you are funding the getaway car. Tiffany Chianchi and I are breaking down the entire math on this, the China-Iran connection, the 401k looting, and why your local farm is being sacrificed willfully on next Wednesday's episode of A Stern Talk. And if you want to know how the people who hate this country are planning to bankrupt it, you need to tune in. Why are you still listening to them anyway?